On the morning of January 6, 2025, at 11:15 a.m., a man named David Morrow was sitting in the balcony of his apartment and enjoying the views of the Pacific Ocean. As always, it was a normal day. Meanwhile, on the mountains of the Pacific Palisades, about 5 miles from his apartment, he sees a blazing fire with sparks. As soon as he saw it, the fire spread so much during just an hour that the smoke completely covered the mountain. In the satellite view, this fire was first reported on the mountains of the Palisades. But after a few hours, it spread to the area of Eaton, Hearst, Kenneth, Getty, Skirball, and San Fernando. At the time of this fire, there were winds of 100 kilometers per hour here. This direction was towards the ocean from inland. Now the question arises here that if the first fire was in the Palisades, which is very close to the ocean, then how did the fire spread from there in the opposite direction of the wind, 30 to 40 kilometers away? Viewers, this fire has destroyed a total of 38,000 acres or 150 square kilometers of area. More than 12,000 buildings and houses have been destroyed, and 180,000 people have left their homes. This is the most devastating fire in the history of Los Angeles, which has not been completely extinguished even during the production of this video. Every possible attempt to extinguish the fire seems to be failing. Water bombers are throwing 45,000 liters of water at a time, which seems to be equal to a few drops in front of this fire. Special chemicals are also being thrown with the help of water bombers. But in the face of nature, all the hard work seems to be useless. California, where there is already a shortage of water, due to which most fire hydrants were empty. Due to the spread in 7 different areas, firefighters and their equipment were also divided. And above that, when the winds of 70 to 100 kilometers per hour fell on the fire, this fire started to explode even more. Before knowing the real reason for the spread of the Los Angeles wildfire, let's see how many wildfires have been attacked in California so far. According to data from the last 25 years, California has been the hotspot for wildfires. In 2003, in San Diego County, the Cedar Fire attacked 273,000 acres. The blazing fire started on November 4, 2003. In 2017, the Tubbs Fire burned 36,000 acres. And this also took place in the month of October. Again in 2017, the Thomas Fire burned 280,000 acres. This fire started in December and ended in January. On November 8, 2018, the Camp Fire burned 1.5 million acres. And after 17 days, it ended on November 25. In the same way, in 2020, the Glass Fire attacked 67,000 acres. And this also started in September and ended in October. If we look at the dates of all these wildfires, one thing is very common. Winters. That is, these wildfires are in the months of winter. And now the Los Angeles wildfire is also in the peak winters. What is the reason that most of the wildfires in the history of California are only in winters? The answer to this question is hidden in a phenomenon called Santa Ana winds. Yes, Santa Ana winds are hot and dry winds that run in Southern California and Baja California, especially in autumn and winters. That run in Southern California and Baja California, especially during autumn and winters. If we look at Google Earth, there is only desert in the east of California. There is only desert in the east of California, which is also called Mojave Desert or Great Basin. The heat of the sun heats up the desert, which increases the pressure of the air here. On the other hand, if we talk about the ocean, the air here is cold and the pressure is low. We had studied in 6th grade that the air travels from high pressure to low pressure. The higher the pressure, the faster the air travels. And here, 2, something like this happens. Santa Ana winds from southeast California rapidly move towards the ocean. The higher the pressure, the faster the air travels to the ocean. These dry and hot winds dry the moisture wherever it passes. This dry and hot air, wherever it passes, the moisture there becomes dry. Because of this, the whole region becomes dry in this weather. Bushes and trees are completely dry, which is very easy to catch fire. Santa Ana winds, where the entire jungle is fueled by wildfire. If there is a fire by mistake, then the strong winds make this fire even more violent. Burning coals spread rapidly, and as soon as the sun sets, the wildfire is out of control. Now it should be said that the direction in which the wind is going, the wildfire should also spread in the same direction. But in the case of Los Angeles, it was completely reversed. First of all, the fire was seen near the Palisades, which is near the ocean, and then it spread in inland areas. Why is that? To understand the real reason for this, we have to understand an interesting phenomenon, which is called the mountain wave rotor. On the other side of the mountain, the direction in which the wind hits directly is called the windward side. And the other side of the mountain, where the wind has to go, is called the leeward side. It happens that when the windward side stops the wind, then during that time, a vortex effect is created on the leeward side. And in this vortex, the wind keeps spinning round and round. That is, if the direction of the wind is on one side of the mountain, then the direction of the wind below the mountain is on the other side. In the case of Los Angeles, this phenomenon has a very big role. The Palisades, where the first fire was reported, is the leeward side. And here, because of the mountain wave rotor, the wind was generated in the opposite direction below the peak of the mountain, which became the biggest reason for the fire to spread in these land areas. Once the wildfire rises too much, then it gives birth to a lot of strange phenomena. Some of these phenomena are known as wildfires. The unbelievable heat generated by the wildfire immediately heats up the surrounding air and pulls it upwards. Due to the heat, the hot air rises rapidly upwards and the cold air from below comes to fill that place. This updraft creates a rotational motion that pulls the dry bushes around in a fire tornado and makes the vortex even more terrifying. Now, this fire tornado begins to create its own air within itself by taking over the running air in the area. It is also very difficult to estimate its direction, but most likely, it will increase the wildfire upwards along the mountain. Wildfire is a reality and it will be found more frequently in the coming years due to climate change. The United States has a latest plan to control wildfires. The latest technology is also available. First of all, the temperature of the wildfire and the real-time data of its spread are taken from infrared cameras. With the help of satellites, the size and location of the fire is monitored. Nowadays, the direction of the fire is also predicted with the help of artificial intelligence. And then all this information is sent to the firefighters. The firefighters try to track the direction of the fire. For the time being, they spray chemicals all around the area so that the fire does not increase too much. But in Los Angeles, firefighters controlled the fire of an area first, and then the fire spread to another place through the air. In American history, the first recorded wildfire was near Michigan in 1871. This wildfire left 12 lakh acres of rubble under a layer of dust and lost 2,500 people. According to the URL of 1871, the most recent record fire in the history of the United States is the Pestigo Fire, and it is also known as the first wildfire in the history of the United States. But if we try to understand nature and instead of fighting climate change, try to act accordingly, then maybe the chain of wildfires can stop again. I hope you will also like and share this video of ZA documentary. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.